Ladies and gentlemen, today here at Hoodie Style Channel, we have an original Switch and a Switch OLED at our disposal. So what can we do with that?
Hoodie Style Channel. Hoodie Style Channel.
Welcome back to Hoodie Style Channel. Today, we're going to do something spontaneous when it comes to this channel. This is not about Project Elizabeth, but if you're here for that, let me reassure you that I'm working on the next episode and you will get that shortly, so don't panic. I'm guessing that if you're interested in a Switch OLED, you've already seen the, million reviews out there about the Switch OLED and the comparisons made by big-time reviewers and big-time companies, but I'm here to give you the alternative view of things, the little guy's view of things, someone who owned the Switch since launch day, yes, me. So this is not going to be a deep dive review or comparison video, but perhaps more of a FYI or good to know video for someone who's actually thinking about purchasing a Switch OLED, who already has the original Switch. I've owned the original Switch since launch day, and recently I decided to switch over to a Switch OLED. And I was seriously impressed by a few things. Let's start by checking out the docks. Okay, first things first, this is the top, how the top looks. They look pretty much similar, they're different color, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, let's move on. The front, here you have different logos on the front. Do you care? I don't care. If you care, press like. If you don't care, press like. Let's move on to the sides. On the side, we have two USB ports on them both, so no difference here. The LED is slightly smaller on the new one compared to the old one. On the other side, we have pretty much no differences. So let's move to the bottom. So on the old Switch dock, we can see that there are 4 rubber feet, and on the new one, there is a rubber plate. I don't know which one I prefer. Which one do you prefer? Press like, depending on which one you prefer. All right, so let's move to the back side of things. Backside. Here we can see that on the old Switch dock, you have a hinge that opens like this, and then you have the port for the AC adapter, the USB, and the HDMI out. Now in the new dock, instead of that hinged door, you have a hatch that opens up. There are no hinges here, and I think that it might feel a little bit cheaper. In this dock, you can find the AC adapter, HDMI out, and an Ethernet port that replaces the USB port on the old dock. So is the Ethernet port all that important? Well, if you play competitive games online, yes it is. But the Switch in our home is a party machine for when friends and family come over. So probably the only thing that I personally care about is the download speeds. Let's compare. So did you find the speed differences substantial? If yes, press like. If no, subscribe. Now let's check the consoles. So this is how they look from the top. The button design looks a bit different, but the layout is pretty much the same. There is a different grid for the ventilation, and there's nothing here really but small design differences. Looking at things from the side, you can see there are some more screws in the old Switch and a few less on the OLED Switch. On the bottom, not much has changed. Now let's take a look at the back. The biggest difference here besides the logo, of course, is the support. Here we can find one of the biggest differences between the original Switch and the new OLED version. On the original Switch, we had this plastic support that felt a bit flimsy, was easy to break, and non-adjustable. On the new OLED machine, we have this metal stand that is fully adjustable and feels like very high quality, and it's an absolute joy to use this thing. Now, I've tried to do some comparisons on sound. I'm not sure that this will get reproduced well on YouTube, but I can tell you this much. On the original Switch, the sound is pretty much balanced, while on the OLED Switch, there is a boost to mid to high frequencies. I actually prefer the old Switch sound compared to the new OLED sound, but the volumes are exactly the same on both. I mean, on the highest volume, they're pretty much the same, but you get that small mid to high frequency boost on the OLED version, which probably has to do with the OLED screen occupying some of the speaker space.
Foodie Style Channel. 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 Foodie Style Channel.
Size-wise, they're pretty much the same machine. You can use the old dock on the new console or the new dock on the old console. The OLED version has 64 gigabytes of storage, while the original has 32 gigabytes. Other than that, they're pretty much the same machine, except for the screen, of course, but we'll get to that. How about weight? Let's check it out. Well, what do you know? Does that weight difference bother you? If yes, press like. If no, subscribe. In all seriousness, is the OLED worth 120 euros extra? Well, no one can answer that question but you. What's your use case? What do you like? What do you want from the console? In my case, I love the metal hinge that is fully adjustable. That was something I really got annoyed with the original Switch. And just the upgrade in build quality is so noticeable. The new OLED Switch feels like an expensive machine, like a Surface Pro or a MacBook or an iPad Pro. It just feels like quality. While the original Switch felt like a bit toyish and flimsy, I can't really help to feel that the Switch should have been released with this build quality to start with. So how about that screen? I haven't showed you the differences yet, but I think it's because most of you know what to expect from an OLED screen by now. But let's do a comparison video here as well. I don't think I need any comments for that comparison. The bigger screen estate is by far the most important for me. The OLED screen itself is vivid and, well, what you expect from an OLED screen full of contrast. You can actually, in the menu, change the vivid setting to a normal setting and not have those poppy colors if that bothers you. Okay, so should you buy it? If you're like us and you use your Switch as a party machine when family and friends come over, then you probably don't need the OLED Switch. But then again, who needs an OLED Switch? I think this is a pure want item. You buy the OLED Switch because you want it. Anyway, that's all for this spontaneous episode here at Hoodie Style Channel. If you liked what we did here today, let me know and perhaps we'll do more of these. And don't forget to come back for more Project Elizabeth episodes because those videos are on their way. This is Hoodie Style Channel, and I'll be seeing you in the next episode.
Hoodie Style Channel. Hoodie Style Channel.